Look, it's a flood.
It's a flood.
It's flooding.
Get away.
Quick, we need to get to higher ground.
Open the floodgates.
Have you ever smashed a BBW before?
No, that's not where I was gonna start.
No, I know that's not where you were gonna start, bro. But I just thought. I mean, like never.
No,
Not in your entire life. Not have you ever run into like just a thick joint, right? Like I'm talking baby back thick, right? Like I'm talking cornbread fed thick that you've never like that made you want to, take it home and bounce on it like a trampoline.
no.
Not once. Is it just like really not like? Are you afraid? Are you afraid you couldn't handle it?
No, like legit. One of my things. It's like I still feel like I need.
You are 6'5"
and 162. I said to my boss that I was 6'5" and 162, and you know what she did? She laughed. I was proud. I was like, yeah, I think I'm more than I was in high school. And she's like, what were you in high school? I was like, 160. Well, what are you now? I'm like, I'm 163. And she literally started laughing.
Well, that's because most women, how old is she? 30 or so?
She's late, I would guess late 40s.
We've been through lots
That's
of
not-
ups
yeah, I
and
won't
downs
go.
with our weight, and if that's all you've gained, 3 pounds, that's like what we gained during our period.
That's not most women. That's most people. This man said I've gained 3 pounds since high school, and everybody listening just now went, "This motherfucker here." What's your secret? Ozempic? No, you don't have the Ozempic face, right? I'm kind of surprised, right? Like, not that it's like a desperation thing. I'm just really like, I feel like you're a tall guy. You could probably handle it. I feel like you're cutting a decent amount of your potential out, right? Like,
It's just a type thing for me.
big girls like funny guys a lot.
You know who else likes funny guys? Everyone.
That's not true. Ask Bill Maher.
Lee.
I guess he's not funny.
Are interested in.
Oh man, let me check my scribbled on envelope.
I derailed his cold open.
No, alright, so I remember. I wanted to tell you a story, right? So, I told you, after I got paid, one of the things I wanted to do is to buy the Sanji suit, right? The Sanji suit from Wano. So I went to Men's Warehouse. I was specifically looking for a purple shirt. So I bought that purple shirt I sent you on Amazon after I went to Men's Warehouse. But I went to Men's Warehouse, and I was talking to this black guy who had an afro, and he showed me that they didn't have any purple shirts. And I was talking to him, and I was like, because I'm looking for a suit, and I just looked at it, and I was like, do you watch One Piece? And he, no hesitation, was like, yeah. And I was like, I want Sanji's Wano suit. He was like, oh, okay.
I mean, I feel like we are at a day and age where if you're talking to somebody within age range of us, it's pretty safe to assume they've probably seen an episode of One Piece, right? Or they at least know what Luffy looked like, right?
Yeah, no, I was fairly confident. I was like,
this looked like a black guy that watch anime.
Black dude within the ages 25 to 35 with glasses and an afro. I'm willing to bet he's watched One Piece.
All right. Like, I felt like I wanted to check you on the afro thing, but I feel like if in 2024, if you're wearing an afro out loud
and working at Men's Warehouse,
he'd probably watch it.
Yeah,
I mean,
you gotta remember
a little bit.
This guy was working at Men's Warehouse.
I'm not gonna get on him for working at Men's Warehouse.
Me neither.
Like,
I mean, like he gave me my shirt size. He did everything he could.
Just like Killer Mike said, we can't all be rappers and ball players. Somebody got to be an electrician, right?
Yeah.
Somebody.
I totally get it. Like. I looked at the guy and I was like, this guy's gonna know what Sanji's suit from Wano looks like.
Would you rather it be him or a dude that looked like Andrew Tate, right? And it's like, brother, what's that? Sanji? No. We don't watch cartoons here, brother.
Why are we still on YouTube?
Is it distracting you? Is your ADHD rising up
And crashing through?
Two times, like the Kool-Aid Man and Miley Cyrus. Ooh,
I came in like a...
which one am I? It's very clear. I'm the Kool-Aid Man.
I am. It's not Miley Cyrus though. And this is Ziggy.
Who are you, Hannah Montana?
No, I'm not Hannah Montana. Are you
With the
kidding me?
flood! Your favorite weekly pop culture digest, bringing you the news happening around you and discussing how it's shaping the culture that defines you
With our pop perspective.
to keep that culture in context
And make the mainstream make sense, because if we do not make sense, we don't make dollars. Holla.
Shout out to the patrons.
Enraged Peacock.
AC Slater.
Or cat named Cool. I do like that one as well. And Thunder Knight. Right up.
Sounds like we make up our patrons, but those are actual real patrons, and you can subscribe to the Patreon to keep it going, keep the lights on at the flood pot on everything.
And that is on everything.
And that's on everything. If you don't got money to subscribe to the Patreon, you can help us out by just spreading the word, liking the podcast, subscribing to the podcast.
And, you know, we actually try to do the work for you, because we shamelessly abuse the algorithm here to try to get maximum reach. And this week's hit on the algorithm is...
Hold on. No, listen, no, really, hold on. Maximum Reach, though, was mad. That's crazy work. That's crazy work. You gotta calm down there, buddy. Like, no, but for real, though, GloRilla is on a running streak with these hits. It's like hit after hit. She had that Boosie sample with Sexy Red a couple of weeks back, right? And this HOLLON joint has all over fucking TikTok. It's in like every short, every reel.
I mean, this is gonna be at least the second episode we've had named after a GloRilla song.
I mean, as many of them as we got named after Taylor Swift, I feel like it's only right that we, pay some respects to the real G's.
I think we even gave up. Like, at a certain point, she had so many songs that, like, we just started naming them, like, Taylor Swift is still number one again.
I mean, in all honesty, it's really been the King Shabuzi. Shout out to Shabuzi, who
a bar song.
beat fucking Lil Nas X's streak, right? Like, so let's keep it a band. But I mean, also, let's keep it a band. GloRilla is really out here putting feet to work, right? And making these bitches keep up. Is
Shout out to Jamar Taylor.
looking crazy out there. Shout out to my boys Linnell Lewis and Mike Withers, who just dropped their new track. It's Like That. Go run that motherfucker up. If you follow me personally on Instagram, then you see I posted that shit on my stories the other day.
So, like, the thing is like, Doc, let's be honest. We don't have too much as far as the docket on current events right now. I mean, like, we could talk about Trump, like, DJing Ave Maria for 30 minutes.
My man really
We're just being honest here.
My man really turned the camera. Look, you turned it on, forward-facing camera just now. Like, he was like
John Stewart. All right, follow me to this camera.
Fireside chat type shit. Nah, I mean, listen, life been lifing. So we here. We still doing the damn thing. It's not a whole lot of structure for this episode, but I mean, things been happening. We got stuff to talk about.
And I will tell you, if you guys have wanted our takes on things,
our takes
you have come. No, just our takes on various things.
That is the greatest sell for a podcast I have ever heard in my life. What will you hear?
Takes on various things. Okay? This is this episode, okay? Ready? Because I came up with 3 segments. Because I know we're going to do 3 parts of this episode. Are you ready? Here's the first one. And you said to go low to high, right?
Hey, go for it.
What is trashed here? I'm not asking you what. I mean, we could start by defining it.
The fucking Giants who lost today.
All right, so hold on. I want to say, beforehand, we're each gonna get to pick 5 things.
Oh, that's how you want to do this. My man is going. I like how we're freeform but structured. Like,
all right, so we're each gonna pick 5 things that are trash tier. They can be anything, as long as you consider them trash tier.
okay, I want you to go first because I want to get a feel for like what you are actually like setting up.
All right, my number 1 pick for trash tier is Nazis.
Okay, I feel like that's an easy one. Like, give me something that's a real like deep cut or controversial. I want to like I'm sorting by controversial here.
All right, well, this is also kind of like for the ones that are like universally considered trash tier. I feel like that's a draft pick quality thing. Like, who's gonna get wet socks? I'm gonna take wet socks.
Oh, okay. So that's where you're going. You're like, if I get to pick the easy ones because I'm getting first round draft pick. No,
well, you gave me first pick.
No, this is your segment. Let's get personal. What is like really trash tier to you?
Wet socks.
Everybody thinks wet socks is trash tier, nigga. But
that's like, because they legitimately are trash tier.
That's like, okay, I could easily say streaming services are trash tier. For the amount of effort and quality that we are getting from each streaming service, we might as well just be paying for cable still.
Alright, that's not a bad take for something that's trash tier. Do you have any streaming service that you think is guilty more than most? And why is it Disney Plus?
No, Disney is doing its best to consolidate all of its media under one app.
And it should be Hulu.
No, Hulu is now on Disney Plus. But you're saying they should abandon Disney Plus and put everything
on Hulu.
I feel like that wouldn't have been a bad idea in the first place because I think now the connotation
to Disney.
I'm hijacking your segment real quick.
And all right, I'm making note.
I'm running off
of where we are at.
Do you think we have gotten to a point now where streaming services have become? I feel like we've talked about this before, but like let's revisit now that we have kind of I feel like the streaming bubble is starting to settle a little. Right.
All right. Let's ask each other real quick. On the count of 3, what's the one streaming service we will always pay for? 1, 2, 3. YouTube Premium.
And it's wild that it works out like that. But I'm not gonna lie. I feel like I've said numerous times on this podcast. I'm addicted to YouTube. It is like what did we call it? Like local service TV.
It's like, I mean, YouTube is such a valuable resource. Not even just for entertainment, like for education and like all and news and all sorts of that.
Yeah, I was gonna say
it's such a resource.
So wild that it's not all just like Mr. Beast, right? It's not all PewDiePie. It's not all Kai Cenat.
But what you should check out is Internet Today. Shout out to Ricky Elliott.
Shout out to FD Signifier and him, right? Like shout out to Thought Crimes. There's so many different, just so much different value to a platform like YouTube that I kind of understand why a competitor hasn't popped up yet, but it's also because Google owns YouTube, so obviously there's gonna be no competitor to YouTube. But like Google, I also see the value in YouTube, right? Like, so I can't deny that, like Zig, it is the one streaming service that I probably will not give up. Other than the fact that I don't pay for Disney Plus and Hulu anyway. Shout out to Verizon.
So, my turn for what is trash. I'm going with Jimmy John's.
You know, I don't think enough about Jimmy John's to call it trash. But, in agreement, anytime that I can recall having Jimmy John's, it has been trash. I'm like, damn, nigga, I could have made it better than something than that.
Right?
They stingy with the meat. Good God, I thought Subway paused. I thought Subway.
And then you go to Jersey Mike's and you're like, oh shit. Or Firehouse?
Yeah, Firehouse.
Firehouse OP.
They bread be a little, like, stale sometimes.
All right, we're gonna talk about bread in the same sentence as Jimmy John's?
Jimmy John's bread tastes like the box it came in.
Jimmy John's bread is the box it came in.
This shit is garbage. If you buying subs from Jimmy John's, I really question like what your other like life choices
Can you
are.
imagine like being at a work function and it's catered by Jimmy John's?
That dude drives a Volvo. Like that dude drives a Volvo. He probably has no TV in his room, right?
All right. So what is your second
He
thing?
wears slippers in the shower, like shower slipper.
All right, Doc. So what is your second thing that is trash?
I think we are at a safe space to see. I'm subverting your game. I said this earlier, but I'm gonna reiterate it. I am the captain. Look at me. Look at me. Listeners, look at me. I am the captain.
Okay.
I think it's safe to say remakes are trash. And I don't just mean like, you know, sequels or anything, despite how you guys may feel about Joker 2 Filet of Flop. Yeah, no, that shit is not panning out great. But that's not even a remake, right? Like, I think looking at that, it's probably safe to say we are in a place where people are tired of familiar property.
Yeah.
Even stories that come from franchises that feel outside of the franchise, right? Like a la The Acolyte, a la Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them.
Yeah.
It is very one-off now that we see things like Deadpool and Wolverine take off, right? And that's because that had a fanfare.
I mean, my take on that movie is still... It was fine. It was fine.
I think
I had fun.
in a place now where there is no excuse for studios to take a risk and experiment on something that hasn't been seen or done. It is consistently been flop after flop after flop with all these. I mean, Agatha, after all, is doing really
It
well.
was Agatha all along.
Yeah, Agatha all along.
And Penguin apparently is stellar.
Yeah. So you know they do still have their flash in the pans, but that's my point. It's a flash in the pan.
Does this apply to adaptations as well? Like Last of Us
or Fallout or the Mr. and Mrs. Smith, right? Like that's been pretty good.
I'd say that
It
was
made
still
it all
a
the way
remake.
to like I think it was Emmy nom.
But there's also exceptions, like Dune. I mean, exceptions proves the rule. But Dune.
That's why I'm saying, like, I think we are in a position where, or I think we are in a spot where it is safe to experiment on new properties. And I wish I had like more off the top of my head to list, but like, the movie, I think it's called Honora. It's like a stripper Cinderella tale. Like that shit is like taking off really well.
I have my third one.
Dandada, like, and I mean, anime is always good at, like, you know, giving breath to new and original ideas, no matter how many Dragon Ball remakes there are, or how long One Piece is.
So, not to mention, they're remaking One Piece. To make it shorter, though.
Go off, I guess.
So, my third thing for what is trash, and I will say this is probably one-ply toilet paper. Definitive trash tier.
I mean,
Can you imagine the episode of Seinfeld where Elaine was begging for just 3 squares and it was one ply?
Bro, I feel like you're asking me to argue if there is ever a situation where I would be okay with having one-ply toilet paper, and the answer is obviously no. Like,
Exactly.
who is
What
ever
I am
okay
trying
with
to
that
do
other than
is clarify certain things that are just definitively trash tier.
okay, fair enough, right? Because I mean, who is ever okay with one-ply toilet paper other than prisoners and like people stranded on a desert island?
Well, I mean, like, you've come with, like, 2 real, hard-hitting, like, actual trash tier things. And I'm just here stating the obvious because sometimes people forget the obvious, Doc.
Do we agree that remakes are trash tier? Because, like I said, a
lot of remakes are pretty trash tier.
Shogun, right? Like that's
That's not a remake.
No, that's my point. That's what I was
an
trying to-
adaptation.
That's what I was. Is it an adaptation?
Yeah, it's from a novel, which is
Okay.
written
Yeah,
more or
so-
less about history.
Okay, so that's what I'm talking about, though. That's what we want more of, right? Like original concepts, things that giving breath to new and original ideas. Like, okay, they cloned Tyrone, another good example.
Well, hold on. Right now, we're talking about one-ply toilet paper. Until you are ready
what else
to
is
come
there
up
to
with
say
another
about one-ply
topic.
toilet paper? What else is there to say about one-ply toilet paper? It is literally less than it is practically one-dimensional. Yes, it is definitively trash tier. I mean, I cannot think of a situation other than a survival situation where I would want to.
But could you also imagine running a company and you're trying to cut costs and your decision is to cut between 1 and 2-ply toilet paper?
I can guarantee you that a lot of these studios where they are filming these trash-ass remakes and reboots, they are using one-ply toilet paper in those trailers.
Still trash tier. All right, Mr. 3, you're up right now.
3P. Going for the hat trick. All right. Let me think. Trashed. Algorithms. Yes, it's cool that my Netflix figures out what kind of movies I like and can recommend me more movies in that area, but is it really cool that I can get addicted to watching TikTok in, 235 videos? It's like
30 minutes. 30 minutes of continuous use.
30 minutes of continuous use based on their algorithm. Like, where are we sitting at with that? Chat, how do we feel about that? Listeners, are we really cool with the Internet of Things really being catered to us in such a tailored manner?
It's a little bizarre when I'm talking to somebody and I say the phrase hair loss, and then all of a sudden my phone is giving me ads for Rogaine.
I mean, it's deeper than that, bro. Like, Google knows when you are at Taco Bell. It knows how
It knows when you are sleeping. They know when you're awake. They know if you've been bad or good. So be good. So use Google for Google's sake.
Don't 1984 me. I mean, speaking of Google, right? Trying to keep it pop culture. You know they are currently
Use a VPN. I'm telling you why.
They are being hit with a is it not antitrust? It's
no, they're getting hit. They're trying to break them up as a monopoly.
Yeah. So I mean, and it's because Google's algorithm knows when the fuck you are going to 7-Eleven, right? Like, it knows when you're on TikTok. It knows
when you're awake.
Facebook. It knows
if you've been bad or good.
So be good for China's sake. Because won't nobody be able to run for president in like 2035 because everybody knew.
You better not shout. You better not cry. 2-step verification telling you why.
I mean, so how do we feel about that? Like, do you think at this point, the invention of the algorithm is still a net good, or is it net neutral?
I was thinking earlier today while driving. I was like, you know what? Why do corporations have to be evil? Because being able to order something on Amazon and getting it the same day is pretty cool.
I have a hot take. Corporations aren't Okay, this depends on your definition of evil, because I think what it is they're greedy. We exist in a society, we exist in a capitalist state where the object of capital is increasing profit, right? Like, growth is the objective, right? That's not sustainable, right? So in order to sustain growth, you have to do things like build self-checkouts and then fire all of the cashiers, but then also pay people to watch the self-checkouts because people are stealing because you're raising all of the prices because of supply chain issues, but not really because of supply chain issues anymore. But you guys were paying that before anyway, so you might as well just keep paying it. But no, we're not going to hire any more cashiers. And I know that has nothing to do with the algorithm, but I mean, literally, there is also a company, oh dude, I forget what the fucking company, it's a website called like True Real Estate or some shit like that is being taken to task by the DOJ right now for effectively creating a fucking cartel on rent pricing, right, between like, 7 of the top real estate investment firms. So, like, yeah, at that point, it doesn't matter if you can bring me my package in the same day if what we're really using these algorithms for is to fucking screw over the working class. No, I don't know if I'm willing to say that this shit is a net positive or even net neutral. The convenience that it offers does not outweigh the intrusion that it has brought. Does that make sense? Am I making sense?
All right, so I have my number 4.
Do you wait? Before we go to your number 4, though, how do you agree? No, I mean, how do you feel about
algorithms?
Yeah, are they net positive, net neutral, or net negative? Where are you sitting?
It makes me feel like Uncle Ben. Not the rice, the like Spider-Man kind. Great power, great responsibility. But people are greedy.
Do you think we would be better off without such, like, detailed algorithms?
I feel like if we were able to have, like, our personal algorithm code and be able to, like, sign up for something and be like, I want to give this service my algorithm code.
So, okay.
Wow, it's almost like if you had, like, some kind of universal way that somebody can willingly submit their data.
So,
huh?
All right, let me propose this to you before we move on to your number 4, because a good friend of mine and I were talking about how we could potentially stabilize the imbalance in the market and the economy right now, and because obviously what a lot of this is data, right? Like, data is a big market.
Yeah.
The economy is practically data driven right now. It's in the politics. It's in the manufacturing, bro. It's like, it's in everything.
What do
right?
you think somebody could get more money for? Donating blood or signing up for a bunch of shit with Google?
At this point, it's probably signing up for a bunch of shit with Google, right? Because they have profiles on everybody, bro. Like, I guarantee you Cambridge Analytica and businesses like that can pinpoint you to a T.
John Oliver already proved that.
Yeah, thank you. So we've been there, right? That's why I said data is the new oil, right? So what me and this friend were proposing, right? Or proposing was that you redistribute wealth by nationalizing the data, not nationalizing the data market. I'm this is like not tinfoil hat talk, but I'm not putting this to the best light. But like, you take the profit that they have made from the data market and you use it to instill a UBI, a universal basic income, because essentially what has happened is the American people have been duped into giving up their personal data at the profit of these corporate, especially social media corporations, who started selling people's data without like explicitly telling them that that's what they were doing, because it was kind of like an aha moment in the middle of the social media boom. If you took all these platforms,
You should have read the terms and conditions, nerd.
yeah, no, but like Elon Musk is literally the richest person in America, right? Like
The world.
Is he? I thought the dude who I thought there was like a French dude who owns like a fashion company who was the richest.
No, Elon had some like the year review, and he got given a huge bonus from Tesla stockholders.
Okay. I mean, that's my point though. Like the richest dude in the world owns like one of the biggest social media companies, if not the biggest social media
And that's
company.
a side hustle.
It is the social media company that is responsible for like the Arab Spring. Like, let's not forget that. Like, Twitter has its footprint in the fucking culture, right? Like, so if you redistribute the wealth that has been made from Facebook, from Instagram, from Twitter, from TikTok, right, and you use that to instill a UBI, do we think that that could potentially neutralize the negative effect that social media and data collection has had on the American culture? Or on culture in general?
I don't know. Should we ask black people about that in reparations?
It would be a good way to do reparations. Take all that money from Zuckerberg so he can't build that fucking fallout shelter in Hawaii.
All right, my turn. Number 4. What is trash? Trying to watch dubbed anime on Netflix or Crunchyroll when you are trying to sleep.
Do you mean dubbed with the subtitles? Because Netflix
Yes.
subtitles
Specific,
are trash.
yes. Dubbed. Let me clarify. Watching dubbed anime with the subtitles on when you are trying to sleep and you also have hearing loss. And here's why. Netflix subs the dubbed anime, the subbed script. And Crunchyroll, their dubbed anime, even when you put subbed captions, doesn't have captions.
Okay, I'm gonna hijack your fourth trash tier thing and just say Netflix subtitles. Netflix, what the fuck? Your subtitles never, ever match the dialogue. It never matches the fucking, no matter what you are watching. You could be watching fucking Octonauts, you could be watching Mr. and Mrs. Smith, you could be watching the fucking Book of Clarence, you could be watching Yu Yu Hakusho, Lost, I don't care what it is the fuck you are watching on Netflix. If you have the subtitles on, they never fucking match what the fuck is being said by the people on screen.
Alright, we're just gonna say that we agree on our number 4 trash tier.
I can't imagine being one of the people whose deafness was cured by Mr. Beast, and then you go back and you watch your favorite shows on Netflix so you can hear the actors for the first time, and the storyline is like completely different. Like, what the fuck? What the fuck is that?
A lawyer would have a fucking conniption with this. They'd be like, that word, that one word, open to interpretation.
Speaking of anime, right? I know this is a bit of a tangent.
Well, I mean, I have my 5th thing that I gotta think of a 5th thing that is trash.
Hold on, I got.
All right, I have a very easy 5th thing that is trash.
Tangent, though. Here's a weird thing I learned this week. So the 1990s version of Power Rangers that came to
The one that made the toys go crazy.
So
Mighty Morphin.
Do you know that?
So we're talking specifically Mighty Morphin.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it was like called Super Sentai or something like that in Japan, and the American version was almost an exact rip of the Japanese version, except for the parts where there were teenagers in high school.
Yep.
Right? Like,
yep.
Yeah, and that's why the Yellow Ranger is different from the Pink Ranger in the fact that the Pink Ranger has a skirt, right? But that's because in the Japanese version, the Yellow Ranger is a dude and the Pink Ranger is the only girl. So when they show the parts of them in their ranger suits in the American version, even though the Yellow Ranger is a girl in the American version, it's not in the Japanese version. So he's not wearing a skirt because it's a dude. Because that's a dude, and I just thought that was pretty funny, right? Like, we don't.
All right, my 5th trash tier thing. It's gonna be a layup. I'm just deciding which layup I want to go with.
My man's trying to see if I can hijack this one.
Nah, fuck it. I'm just gonna go with James Harden.
Damn.
James Harden is trash. All right, what's your number 5?
My man was like, I don't have any answer, or I don't have any explanation for this. I just feel like James Harden is
James
trash.
Harden is trash. It was either that or Hasbro. So, like,
It is trash. I feel like I've had some pretty good ones so far.
it could be literally anything that you consider trash tier.
I mean, yeah, but I feel like I want to keep on the streak that I've been going on, right? Like, you know, aside from the last one, Netflix, your subtitles are trash, though. Get that shit together. We really need to figure that out. Ooh, okay. All right. I got one that I'm sure you're going to want to run from in the first, 2 minutes of the conversation. I think we need the connection between sex and creeps is trash.
Clarify this for not only me, but our listeners.
I think, oftentimes we look at people who are into more sexually explorative things, or the idea that transgender people are groomers. The traditional idea that gay men are perverts. Looking at polyamorous people as sex addicts. I think the association, the want to call them Drakes or Diddy's or Weinsteins, right? I think that idea is outdated and wild and a little bit trash, right? It's like when we hear that Diddy is being investigated and indicted on sex trafficking charges and stuff like that. Essentially what that means in layman's terms is that nigga was pimping. Shocker, the music industry deals with high-end escorts. It's not no Illuminati shit. It's more like Carlito's Way shit, right? And if you didn't know, now you know. No, for real though. Where have you been? Are you living under a rock? There is this new satanic panic wave, right? That sex has gotten wrapped up in, and there was a couple of a couple of years ago. There were a set of I think it was it was a law that was passed. I believe it was called Fosta Sesta, and it was all about sex trafficking and stuff like that, and it made a lot of the progress that sex workers have done to legitimize their industry. It took them back a couple of steps, right? Because we've talked on here about the advent of OnlyFans and how that has given autonomy and a lot of power to people in the sex work industry to not have to work under the kind of skeevy and creepy conditions that they had to work in that area before.
Yeah,
right?
I saw something that there is a specific OnlyFans model that is making more money annually than Klay Thompson.
I mean, listen, people like
Klay Thompson just signed with the Mavericks.
People like to get that nut off, but at the same time, Pornhub is being taken to task, right, and is being sued for its not abatement, but
it's getting sued, it seems like, all the time.
The willingness, or not the willingness, but the ease at which it made it available for people to post CP content, right? Yeah. And, it's one of those things they're pulling the whole, we are just a platform. What people post is what people post, and we're not responsible for that, right? And
Some what is it? Title 37?
something like that, right? And that has come into question, right?
Whether or not the social media companies or internet companies or platforms for which people post content are held liable for the content for which their users post.
Right. So is YouTube liable for people posting like alt-right, anti-Semite content, right? Or is Twitter responsible for people posting Islamic terrorist content, right?
No, absolutely not. We're not responsible for anything that happens on our platform because we are here for free speech.
I mean, look, Elon Musk has literally become the top Trump propagandist at this point. I don't know if you've been on X lately, bro, but like the level of the amount of far-right propaganda that has popped up on X, dude, I'm just like, every fucking day I am surprised at some of the shit that pops up on my fucking timeline, bro. And like, just the fucking Trump glazing, oh my god. Can we talk about how, I know, once again, I have hijacked our segment, but like...
I mean, like I said, this is not an episode I had much of a docket.
Let's talk about, I mean, I got it. I'm here with it. Let's talk about we gotta talk about Trump, bro, because we are fucking 2 weeks away from the election. And tangent, you know what my daughter has done? She cut my fucking voter's registration card up with a pair of scissors.
Oh my god. Was it like the craft scissors so they were like a zigzag?
Yo,
that would have been so great if you showed up with a zigzag cut voter's registration card.
My old one, and nothing has changed since the old one that I have. And luckily I live in Maryland where there won't be insane fucking Republicans trying to kick me off the voter roll. But
also, your vote realistically isn't going to matter.
Yeah, I mean, people say that, but literally,
I mean, I'm still voting. So.
You have people like Bill Maher out there saying that unless Kamala wins in a fucking landslide, that the election is too close. Right? It's not looking good for the Democrats. I don't know where we're at.
I mean, we already know Trump's gonna complain no matter what.
Yeah, right.
Unless he wins.
We do know that for a fact.
Like,
And
he's going to complain unless he wins, and then he's gonna be like, look, it's totally legit. This system, see, it worked perfectly. There's no reason to look under the hood at all.
he is very man behind the curtain, pretending that the curtain, he was forcefully put behind the curtain, right? Like, he's like, I'm not here to lie to you, but he's lying to you the entire fucking time. Bro, I can't take it. He is getting increasingly more and more senile. Everybody is making fun of the, like, let's just play music, I don't want to answer questions. Donald looks so tired, right?
Yep.
Like, can we put Don to bed? He needs to take a nap.
Like Republicans, do you have anyone waiting in the wings?
Jamie,
Like, anyone.
like-
the Democrats at least have Gavin Newsom as a pinch hitter.
ooh, so I heard this conspiracy theory. This is a good one. Get your tinfoil hats ready. The plan is to get Donald elected again
And then 25th Amendment him.
on the emoluments clause.
Yep.
And let JD Vance run the country.
Yep, I have also heard that one.
And I am like, do you think the Forever Trumpers would riot? Or do you think they would use this as an opportunity to do what Democrats did with Joe Biden and be like, well, you know, in all honesty, Donald did what he was supposed to do, let him step aside gracefully?
If they riot, or if they get rid of him, I think there's a riot.
Yeah, because is using the emoluments
Nobody
clause-
likes JD Vance that much.
Are you sure?
I would trust Haley Joel Osment pretending to be JD Vance more than I would trust JD Vance.
I don't know, dude. It's kind of... I totally feel like that is what they have planned, though. right? Like, get rid of Trump, let Hitler Jr. be president for a little while.
It's just gonna be Peter Thiel president by proxy.
Because, yeah, man, Donald's not looking great. He's looking pretty tired out there. He's talking about fucking Arnold Palmer's dick.
God damn it.
He's dancing for 30 minutes instead of answering questions.
Quote unquote dancing.
He's farting on stage.
Shitting himself. By the way, everybody, Donald Trump shits himself. Friendly reminder.
We are no Democrat glazing podcast.
No.
Right? Like,
we're literally on record as calling Joe Biden political Robitussin.
old man Steve Rogers wasn't our first pick.
For a second.
But goddammit, he's better than Donald Trump.
Yup.
And has actually been fantastic for unions. Even Mark Cuban calling Kamala Harris being like, can you please get rid of Lena Khan? Like, please.
Yep.
She makes it really hard for us to be greedy.
Lena Khan got a fantastic bill passed that's going to go into effect, apparently, that's going to make canceling subscriptions as easy as signing up for them.
That's okay. So if the first thing can't be my fifth thing, like the whole like associating sex work and sex with creeps is trash, then I want fucking my fifth thing to be gym memberships making you come into the gym to cancel the membership. What the fuck is that bullshit? It was all I had to do was sign up online for your little dumbass $1 New Year's Eve savings thing, but I gotta come into the gym. You want me to shame myself by walking into the place I haven't been in for 3 fucking months but have been paying for, to be like, yeah, you can't just keep siphoning money from me. This isn't a fucking Patreon, right?
No, there's apparently I've heard people that are like, yeah, I just told my bank to stop payment.
Yeah, you can. By the way, listeners, if you didn't know that, you can call your bank and tell your bank to not pay them anymore because you haven't been in 3 months and you discovered fucking 90-day fitness or whatever the fuck.
Yeah, I signed up for OpenAI's image generator, designing my card game, and they have been trying so goddamn hard to charge me for $14.
Yeah, man. Shout out to Lena Khan. You doing the real work, OG.
And I think at that point, we're gonna take a break.
You take a sound, any sound, record it, and then change its nature by a multiplicity of operations. You record it at different speeds, you play it backwards, you add it to itself over and over again. You adjust filters, echoes, acoustic qualities, you combine segments of magnetically taped. By these means and many others, you can create sounds which no one has ever heard before.
Okay, so, Doc, the next segment is... What is mid? I'll give you first pick.
Oh, I get first pick this time? What is mid? I think I want to keep on the trend that I've been following, and I want to say going out. Going out is mid. I'm gonna join the trend and say that there's not enough third spaces anymore.
I'm gonna say, is going out mid?
Yeah.
Or is going out hit or miss?
No, it's that makes it mid. If it's hit or miss, it's mid.
But when it's good, it's great.
Yeah, but that's because, I mean, how much money did you spend to get to that point? Right? Like, we've discussed here on the pod that Gen Z is paying for, like, social clubs and stuff like that. They're trying to get away from the club, and they're paying for memberships to a lot of these social spaces. They're traveling more, but even traveling is mid. Traveling is getting so mid to the point where you have places like a lot of countries in the Mediterranean are like asking tourists to stop coming because they're like, hey, you guys are driving rents up, you're ruining the economy, you're damaging the climate.
Wait, what are you talking? You should blame Airbnb for that.
Airbnb, right? Hotel, like Airbnb made it so that hotels were more preferable. I don't know how bad you have to be to make, you know, staying at the Sheraton okay, but like, yeah, there are lots of people who would rather book a rooftop inn than book somebody's Airbnb and pay all the, like, it says the Airbnb is only $70 a night, but then by the time you get through with all the hidden fees, it's actually like $300, and you might as well have gone with the fucking hotel because at least it's got a gym.
I just want to say, you're talking to somebody that was okay sleeping on, like, a leftover piece of fence
Yeah, but
in a
what
garden
I'm
tucked
saying,
out in somebody's
okay,
backyard in
right.
Baltimore.
Sure. But now, Mr. Salary, if you're booking a trip, right, because your job has you going to a conference, would you rather do the Airbnb that has fucking $250 worth of hidden fees, or would you rather just book the hotel room because at least they've got room service for the $300 a night?
Oh, absolutely, the hotel.
That's my point, right? So
what the fuck do I really need an Airbnb for?
That's what I'm saying. Like, and if they're gonna charge you $24 for a cheeseburger, if they're gonna charge you $24 for a cheeseburger, it better not be from the goddamn freezer. Don't tell me it's don't charge me $24 for a Cisco burger. I don't, like, what the fuck is that? Like, we are at a point, that's why I said going out is mid. There's not enough third spaces anymore. You gotta pay, like, literally we just covered a story that said it's about $150 to go on a date now. $150 between two people to go on a date.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
The fuck is that? I gotta spend...
Unless you gotta get creative.
Most people's rent is literally 50%, if not more, than their income. And now you're telling me I gotta spend $150 on a date? The fuck is that? What do you mean? Daycare is already expensive. I gotta spend fucking half my mortgage on childcare, and then you want me to pay $150 to go on a date? Concert tickets. It's crazy. What? Festival tickets? Get the fuck out of here. Are you insane? Coachella? You must be rich. Are you crazy? Going out is mid now. It sucks. Everything is too expensive.
You just made it sound like trash. What's the part that at least makes it good?
Well, I mean, cause you get to go out. There's stuff to do. It's just expensive to do everything. And there's not enough things to fucking do for a reasonable price. That's what makes it mid. It's like, yeah, there's still fun shit to do. You can go out, there's lots of things to do in the city. There's all kinds of escape rooms and all kinds of retro arcade bars popping up and stuff like that.
Those are expensive.
But that's my point!
Yeah.
There's all kinds of paint and sips to go to, and I think California just made it okay for weed bars to pop up, right? So it's literally about to be Amsterdam out that bitch, but I guarantee you it's gonna cost like a fucking savings to get out there and actually do this shit. And not to mention, plane tickets are already a bitch, and that's if you're not flying Boeing, right? Get the fuck out of here. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? Going out is mid, and it sucks because that's literally what has people stressed out. Everybody is working too fucking hard, and there's not enough, like, reprisal on the back end of that shit.
So it's my pick for something that's mid. Football is mid.
Go off, King. I mean, explain.
Football is mid. You set aside 3 hours of the day for 60 minutes, quote unquote, of action.
I thought it was like actually 13. I thought if they cut like all of the commercial interference.
I mean, the game
and
clock
stuff
is
out-
60 minutes long.
Yeah, but I think there's actually like something like
And
13
a football game
minutes of
program
actual
goes
play
for
time.
3 hours. Now, we're talking, because the clock runs at dead time, too. Football's kind of trash. Not to mention, like, all the players that you really get attached to, like, they fall off after, like, 3 years. The players are horribly compensated for what they actually do. You know, there's plenty of, like, subtones of racist shit. And, yeah, you only get to watch it once a week.
There were a couple of differences there, but for the most part, your argument could be said about baseball, too.
You're right.
I mean, baseball is there's a lot of downtime in baseball.
Yeah, there is.
I mean, like its predecessor, cricket. I think the longest cricket game was like a week, right?
Yeah, but the thing about baseball is baseball by design is a game that could go on forever. And that's part of the beautiful thing about the game.
Is it?
Football, like, we're watching people get exploded, dog.
I feel
You know
like,
what? I'm actually going to follow up with this. You know what else has been? Watching UFC.
Ooh, okay. I have always been, despite the level of corruption, I have always been a proponent of boxing is a much more entertaining sport to watch than UFC, unless you are watching, like,
I agree with you.
middleweight UFC is fine because there's not as much like ground competition, but I feel like the heavyweights like to take it to the ground a lot, whereas in boxing, like I feel like the heavyweights on down, the level of slugfest is more prominent.
I will say, like, anytime that, like, a fight goes to the ground and the announcer just keeps talking, they really should just pause. Or the color commentator should just say, pause. Like, we don't need to hear about you saying how they're wrapping the leg around them and...
I mean, and that's not to discredit wrestling as a martial arts form.
No.
Right, and that's not to discredit ground competition as a legitimate game because, like, as anybody who has ever been in a street fight before can tell you, there's a, like, 50-50 chance that it'll end up as some kind of ground game.
Yep.
I think...
It won't if you just jump out of a tree and drop kick them in the face, though.
I think most fighters can agree that drop kicks are a very inefficient form of fighting because you make yourself completely vulnerable by taking away your stability.
It's a surprise attack, though, when you're jumping out of a tree.
And boxing is probably the most efficient fighting form because literally it's just punching people in the face.
Yeah.
And if you're good at punching people, you can end a lot of fights before they even fucking start.
Yep.
Like, before it gets to ground game. If a dude is coming at you and you can see that shit and you can fucking punch him in the nose 4 times before he blinks once, yeah, you're pretty fucking good. Mike Tyson ended a fight in fucking like 10 seconds. Dude, I've always said that if I grew up in Mike Tyson's prime, I probably would not have actually gone to a Tyson fight because there's a good chance that shit would be over in 10 seconds. Why am I paying $450 some to watch a fight that's gonna be over in 10
For the
seconds?
undercard.
Yeah, literally, for the fucking undercard.
Doc, what is your second thing that you call mid?
Gaming.
Gaming?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to say that gaming has gotten pretty mid. I feel like, you know, we just talked about the infection that is live service games on the industry. And
I did see that Steam changed their terms and conditions to where they said that people no longer own the games, they just have a license to them.
Yeah, that might be my third thing that is mid, but I'll save that for a little later. But as of right now, like, not to say that there haven't been good games that have come out lately, but I think I'm gonna have to agree with Vosh a little bit here and say that like
controversial.
the innovation as far as gameplay has stagnated. A lot of the gameplay has become very like I don't know, like it's kind of the same across different It feels like different companies are just trying to make different versions, kind of like with the music industry.
I feel like gaming companies for the past 20 years have just been trying to recapture the magic of everybody's first time playing Grand Theft Auto 3.
There's a lot of that, but I feel like it's more of when something catches fire, then everybody tries to cash in on it, right? And I feel like that's a lot of what's wrong with the music industry right now. And you know, that goes back to the theme of people being unwilling to take risk when it comes to investing in new, innovative kind of content. Not to say that there haven't been great games to come out, right? Because the storylines of a lot of these games to come out recently are fucking amazing, right? And
yeah, absolutely.
Gameplay, or like, but the visuals aspect of games has gotten exponentially better since our beginnings of gaming, right? Like, I mean, I came up on,
the very first video game I ever played was Donkey Kong Country 2 on the Super Nintendo. I was 3 years old.
My computer gaming goes all the way back to like Carmen Sandiego and fucking
Backyard Sports, baby, and
Backyard
putt-putt.
Sports, yeah.
Putt-putt.
Like shit like that.
One of the most intense games that I played as a kid was Lego Racer, for sure.
But the Galactic Galaxy Ping or Galaxy.
Yeah. The pinball machine.
Yeah, Galaxy Pinball Machine.
That was on everybody's Windows XP.
And I mean, yeah, no, literally, I've been gaming since fucking the SNES, right? So, since fucking the SNES.
Pause.
Phrasing. No, so it's great to see games like God of War, Horizon Zero Dawn, the new the Final Fantasy remake.
Yep.
Like that's great, but like the innovation, like I feel like we got stuck in the VR commodity for a little bit, right? Like the same way movies in the early 2000s got stuck in 3D. Like every Piranha 3D.
Yeah.
Like, everything had a 3D version that you could go see.
Comes with 3D and a migraine.
I feel like gaming though has gotten to a point where and I think it does have something to do with the consolidating of all of the studios under these large umbrellas. When we were growing up, there were a lot more independent studios that were being given the funding to try and make these games. Now everything is like Bethesda, EA,
and it's also wild because a single game programmer can do so much more now than they used to.
I think it's also part of the reason why you see a lot of the games that are catching fire now are from like indie studios, like Animal Well,
Pal World.
Yeah, dude. It's because that's what people want, right? Like they think because they have these algorithms that they can feed us the content that the AI tells us they should, but we have demonstrated that we can tell when something is AI generated.
Yep.
And we don't like it. Like, I don't know. Yeah. So yeah, gaming is mid. That's
all right. I have mine. My second thing I consider mid is the color green.
Ooh, that's fucked up. That's my favorite. Fuck you. Nope. This is where the podcast
I think the
ends.
color green
Congratulations,
is kind
everybody.
of mid.
You have made it to the end of the flood with Doc and Ziggy.
I think green is kind of mid. And this is coming from an Irish guy. I feel like
you're mid.
Green doesn't match well with a lot of things. Like, like green and blue. When I see green and blue paired, and people are like, "Oh, that's so nice," I'm like, that visibly kind of upsets me.
First and foremost, your whole argument is trash. This is all trash tier. by the way. If I can add a 6th level to my trash tier, I would like to argue that it's because you don't know how to wear the color green. Who the fuck is wearing the color green? First of all, you wouldn't wear green with anything but maybe like.
I'm not even talking about wearing green. I'm just talking about the color green in general.
Nope, that's trash. That's trash, bro. That's absolute trash.
It is
forest
the
green,
middle of my
camo green.
It is not.
No.
It's mid.
Nope.
It's mid. The color
Nope.
green is mid.
You like purple, please. That is like the most garish color. Like, are you kidding me? Like,
Yeah, why do I want some neutral basic ass green?
that's not neutral at all. There's nothing neutral. Earthy, maybe. Natural, yes. Very standout for sure. Very luxurious, absolutely. Because you are sitting in the presence of growth itself. I don't understand how you could not a green with like a off-white or a beige. Oh,
All right, look, I'll give you green works when I open with Birds of Paradise.
Hold on, we were talking about the Power Rangers earlier. The Green Ranger, best Ranger.
All right,
Get
I'll
the
give
fuck
you
out
that
of here.
one.
What are you talking about?
But I'm still saying, overall,
No.
while there are a lot of things that are green, there are a lot of things that are very
Money.
that are green.
That's
I'm gonna
like,
I'm
what-
standing
name-
by. I think
Name
the
one
color
thing,
green is
name one
mid.
thing that is. Name one thing that is. We don't even have mid grade anymore. The weed that the green. Gumby is goated. You're crazy. What the fuck are you talking about? What are you literally? You're off the mark right now, bro. I'm gonna need you to really get back on track here. This is disappointing. I am so disappointed in you. This is alpha bro content right now. Like, you green.
Look, one of us
mid,
needed to have a controversial take here. Not even saying that green is trash tier. I'm just saying that the color green is mid.
It's mid is a trash tier comment. It's mid is a trash tier comment, and I'm gonna need you to fucking like. You know what color is overrated? You know what color is overrated? Blue. Blue is fucking overrated.
I'll agree with you on it being overrated.
You know why it's overrated? Because it's just. I feel like it's PR, like bacon, right? Like, nobody understands why you like the color blue. You've just been told to like the color. Like, water isn't even really like. Water
No,
isn't
it
even
just
really
reflects
blue.
the color in the sky.
And the sky is only like that because of the gas in the fucking atmosphere, right? That's not even really the natural color of the sky. Like, if you got rid of all the nitrogen, it might be like fucking orange or something. Like, you don't know. You don't know that. Like,
All right, Doc. Your third pick for what is mid.
Power potential of music when it's right.
why are you booing me? I'm right.
As good as your right music. It
Right.
will all
You're
come alive.
just mad because you came for green, and there was absolutely no reason for that. I feel like that was so uncalled for.
I appreciate your zealous defense of it.
No, I don't think you really do, because like, honestly, like what? Green mid tier?
I probably pissed Zach off by saying that too, so
The fuck? You're a Celtics fan.
I know, right?
You're a Celtics
It's
fan.
weird, but I still kind of say the color green overall. I mean, I like green, but overall it's kind of mid, you know?
Robin Hood?
Like
Green
purple,
Lantern?
red, black, like those are top tier colors.
Did you just say purple being a top tier? I'm like, okay, like, I'm a Prince fan too, but I don't know if I would call purple a top tier color, bro. I just don't. I like, it's a very like special occasion kind of color. Like, I feel like you can wear green and get away with it anywhere, bro. I mean, like I said, Green Lantern, Jon Stewart. Everybody loves Jon Stewart. Everybody loves Jon Stewart so much that DC is talking about bringing Jon Stewart to the DCEU. They're thinking about, word on the street is they gonna make your very own Rebel Ridge Aaron Pierre Jon Stewart. Now, how do you feel about that?
I feel like that was a perfect time to follow up with your third thing for that is mid.
How do you feel about it? So, have you seen Rebel Ridge yet?
I'm telling you, when I'm thinking of casting Jon Stewart, that the producers are really mad that Chadwick Boseman is dead.
I don't know, bro. I feel kind of way about actors double dipping. Like, if you gonna be with a franchise, be with a franchise.
Look, Jon Stewart should have been Denzel 10 years ago.
Like, I don't want Henry Cavill being both Superman and Iron Man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't
I want an actor to play Iron Man and Doctor Doom.
Doom. Yeah, that feels wild.
That's
doesn't
weird.
It? That feels wild, doesn't it? It's lazy. It's so lazy. Like, I get it, RDJ. Like, you the man. You can do anything.
Get your bag. Not gonna blame you for taking the bag.
But
Because that bag has to be huge.
But there was nobody else that could have been Doctor Doom. I'd have taken fucking Rami Malek.
I wouldn't.
Over RDJ? Yes. Yes, I'm sorry. Get the fuck out of here. What do you mean? Bro, I'm so tired of...
My hot take for who should have been Doctor Doom? John Hamm. You get Don Draper to be Doctor Doom?
I thought you were gonna say John Leguizamo.
No, think about it. No, that actually doesn't sound as crazy as it said when I first came up. John Hamm as Doctor Doom?
I mean, I could. John Hamm feels like he would hate Reed Richards for no reason.
Yeah, he does. He really, really does.
I'm just mad that we never got John Hamm as live action Archer, because that also would have been perfect. Instead, we got Henry Cavill, right? Which is cool. Henry Cavill.
It's either Cavill, Cavill, Caval.
Anyway, so for my third thing that I think is mid, this isn't what I was alluding to earlier, but it did just pop up in my brain, and I'm gonna go ahead and say it. Subscription services. Subscription services are mid, especially because
I'm surprised that you didn't say that they're trash.
I'm not gonna say that they're necessarily trash, because I feel like, we were already paying subscription services for... I mean, your cell phone is a subscription service.
Taxes.
Cable, right? That's a subscription service.
Yeah.
I don't think that, but I love YouTube Premium, but...
And for what they are making subscriptions.
That's my point. I love YouTube Premium. I don't think it's worth $20 a month.
It's only $14.
I don't think so.
I got billed for it, and I think it was $14.
I don't know. I don't know about that. You might have to check that again. There are lots of... I mean, Netflix too, right? Like, Netflix is damn near...
I just turned mine back on, and it's for the no commercials, not 4K version. So, like, the, quote, most popular one, I think it's $16 a month.
Yeah. I don't know. It just feels like a lot. And then you don't get... Oh, that's what it was. You don't get, like, real ownership to anything anymore. Everybody wants you to just subscribe to shit, right? Like, you can't have Adobe software anymore. You have to subscribe
that shit's
to
annoying.
Adobe, right? Like, fucking BMW... I will never let this die. BMW tried to make people sign up for a subscription service for heated seats and other car amenities, bro.
That's
like, they
bullshit.
literally will try anything to milk as much money from you. And as to where it feels like this should be trash tier, I'm gonna say it's mid, because the level of reach they are trying, and the, like, just the lack of quality that they are offering for the bullshit.
But I'm gonna say why you say it's mid and not trash. I mean, some subscriptions that, like, you really are just like, with some streaming services. Streaming services aren't hard to turn off.
But I mean,
like, sometimes you just want to watch something for a month.
they're a lot less hard to turn off than, like, your gym membership.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, like, think
Which is
about it.
still
There
a
would be times
subscription.
where people, like, think about it. We used to go spend $20 to buy a DVD, and we might realistically watch that DVD, what, like, 3 times?
I mean, you know, subscribing to a membership for your local library is never a bad idea, right? That's why I'm not gonna say subscriptions are trash. I'm gonna say the level at which we are being pushed to subscribe to things nowadays,
That is trash.
and the, I guess, effort that they are putting into making quality product for us to subscribe to is trash, right? And that makes subscriptions mid, because I understand having subscriptions for things, and you know, I wish Netflix would bring back the annual pricing and not make me pay monthly for that bullshit, right? But you know, that's just semantics. So yeah, that's my third thing.
Really, because my third thing, I'm not even gonna lie, my third thing is arguing semantics.
Yeah, that's bullshit. That is bullshit. You just thought of that because you didn't have a third thing.
I literally was just thinking, my thing that is mid is arguing semantics. Because a lot of the time, yes, it does derail conversations, but a lot of the times you find yourself arguing with somebody who is arguing about something else entirely until one of you actually just goes, "What do you mean?"
I would like to point out, and for our keen listeners, you already observed that he said all that to say that he agrees with me. He just thought of that shit because he doesn't have a third thing. He actually is just arguing semantics.
Fine. My third thing is Royal Farms chicken is mid.
Damn. Okay. All right. I have to ask then, what is your top tier fast food chicken spot?
Popeyes. To zero people's surprise.
Have you been to Cane's or Dave's yet?
No, I haven't.
You haven't had Dave's hot chicken or Raising Cane's?
No, I haven't, but hip hop is too salty. KFC is actually trash tier.
Yeah.
Like, if you give me KFC or Royal Farms, I'm taking Royal Farms every time.
What about Wawa? You don't like Wawa's chicken?
Wawa is great, but every time I walk into Wawa, I'm never considering fried chicken.
Yeah, Wawa's chicken is trash. Have you had Geno's yet? That's local. If you're in the DMV.
No, I haven't. Like, if you think of like the 3 main Maryland chicken places.
Have you been to New York? Fried chicken out in like Baltimore and got a chicken box?
No.
No,
you just asked me if
got-
I went to New York chicken in Baltimore.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Mr. I be out in Baltimore, but you've never been to fucking New York fried chicken? You've never gotten a chicken box from... Oh, okay. All right.
You know I only eat at like 11:30 at night.
Hey, listen. You're not helping yourself.
I swear I don't smoke crack.
That's not what I meant. I'm just saying, like, anyway. You gotta try Raising Cane's.
But yeah, that's my third thing.
It's not
That's
mid.
my third thing. Royal Farms is mid.
Royal Farms chicken is mid. That's local. That's
You know what? I'm actually just gonna go overall. Royal Farms is mid.
Royal Farms is mid. So you're a Wawa guy or are you a Sheetz guy?
I would take either over Royal Farms.
Ah, really?
But I would stop at a Royal Farms before I stopped at a 7-Eleven.
Damn, bro. Hey. And you know that's crazy because 7-Eleven is considering closing around 450 locations, I believe it
It's
was.
because 7-Eleven is like sneaky expensive as fuck.
One of the reasons they are considering closing these locations is because their profit margin has dipped considerably. Especially like their cigarette sales, I believe they said. Like people, Gen Z is not smoking cigarettes, they're buying vapes, which you would
And
think
Zyn packets.
which you would think would keep them in business, but traffic in their 13,000 locations nationwide has been low. So, yeah, they are actually considering closing 450 of those locations. And that's wild to me because I feel like, personally, for me, I don't know if the marketing just worked really well, but I thought like 7-Eleven was the premier convenience store for most of America.
We got convinced that Slurpees were way better than they are.
I mean, listen, Wawa is great. Their Slurpees don't hit like 7-Eleven Slurpees do, but I mean,
no, because that's because they have
more.
ices, but they have that remixed Coke machine. And let's be honest, like Wawa is like real food.
Yeah, I was gonna say you could buy burgers at Wawa, right? And I'm not gonna say Wawa burgers.
Like Wawa has pizza now that you can get until 3 a.m. And it's not great, but it's definitely pizza.
And
Where when I go to 7-Eleven and I get pizza, I'm like, this is DiGiorno.
How long has pizza been in the warmer, bro? Like, be real with me.
Like even if you have them cook a fresh one.
Was this pizza here?
Like 7-Eleven's fresh cooked pizza tastes like if you cooked a Lunchables pizza.
And you know what's crazy? There's only like 1,050 Wawa locations on the East Coast. I think it's specifically an East Coast thing. I don't know what that means though, because like I said, I feel like 7-Eleven is a cultural American staple.
It's a ubiquitous brand, to say the least. I feel like if you went to everywhere across the country and you said, name 3 convenience stores, you would get more people saying 7-Eleven than any other.
I would be
brand.
surprised if anybody could name. I guess you would get more regional. Like it would be 7-Eleven and then 2 regional convenience stores, right?
Like for us, it would be 7-Eleven, Wawa, and Royal Farms.
That's my.
Somebody in Virginia would be like 7-Eleven, Sheetz, and Wawa.
Yeah. Apparently, according to Google, 20% of the 7-Elevens in America are in California. And I thought that was pretty wild. Like, that's a pretty large number of 7-Elevens to be in one state. I mean, I guess California is like the entire West Coast, but...
Well, I think we're going to take a break before we come to the conclusion of when Doc and I pick our goats. No, I did not.
We've been doing this long enough that
I wouldn't do that. And I know how the Control Y button works.
Yeah.
They have me working on a Mac, and it does have me fucked up because all these hotkeys are different.
Macs are a bit more user-friendly.
They're idiot-proof.
Yeah, like...
They're idiot-proof.
Yeah, they make it...
They are not user-friendly if you know what you're doing.
I disagree. I feel like if you know what you're doing and you want something that's more streamlined, you get a Mac, right? But if you want something that will really let you get into the tinkering and the takering, then you get a PC.
Man, now I might just audible my what is top tier pick based off of that little snippet.
Because we have come to the end of the episode and we have reached our top tier contenders. That's right, if you haven't picked up on the trend for this
we
week's
said
episode.
5 things that are trash. We said 3 things that are mid, and we are going to say our 1 thing that is top tier. So let's just give a refresher. My 5 things that are trash: wet socks, Jimmy John's, 1-ply toilet paper, watching dubbed anime when you have to sleep and have hearing loss or are watching it on Netflix, and James Harden. Doc's 5 trash tiers are streaming services, remakes, algorithms, also watching dubbed anime when you have hearing loss and trying to sleep or watching it on Netflix.
It was just Netflix closed captions.
Netflix closed captions in general
are trash.
And your number 5 trash was
the close association between creepy people and sex, but like, yeah, that feels weird to say now. So far deep into this phrasing.
The 3 things that we said are mid. I said watching UFC, The Color Green, and Royal Farms. Doc's 3 things that he considered mid was going out, gaming, and
Subscription services.
now we are on our pick a goat. Doc, you go first. What is your
No. You gotta go first because I went first last time.
pizza? Pizza is GOAT. It is a canvas of the culinary variety. It is merely a vessel, and it is an idea to which can be shaped. People may think that it may just be limited to a tomato base with cheese on top, but no, for those are the closed-minded. Have you ever seen a cookie pizza?
I was gonna say, I would argue those people have never seen a Japanese pizza or a Asian pizza in general, because over in Asia, they get funky with the pizza. They be putting all kinds of shit on fucking pizza, and I'm seafood, clams, stuff you've never seen before. Honestly, things that would make the American palate be a little questioned, right? And I'm not just talking because of the spices, right? Like, I mean, like, it's stuff that you would be like, is that even a pizza?
Is that even a thing that you should eat? Like,
I'm not gonna say you shouldn't eat it. It's just like, is that a pizza anymore? I mean, they literally.
I think pizza is top tier, god tier, because it realistically is just a vessel. It is something flat-ish that you can eat with your hands and fold. And that usually comes in a circle, unless you're being contrarian. Fuck you, Litos. And fuck you, Chicago. Jon Stewart would agree with me on that. Jon, not John.
Wow. Okay. So that's your goated.
Pizza.
Pizza over
Pizza.
everything. POE.
Well, I mean, like, my goat... like, we were doing a 5-3-1. Like, clearly there are other things in my goat tier list.
No, but I mean, as far
for,
as,
like, the
food
premiere
is, I mean, as
of
far
the
as food
ranting
is
tier
considered-
list episode, I'm pizza is my...
So, as far as food is considered, it's 3 o'clock in the morning. You stranded. It's hard out, right?
There is never a time where if pizza is an option and I
It's a
get
bad
full option of customizing the pizza, there's never a bad time for pizza.
That's fair. I feel like that's a fair statement.
Like, if they're like, all right, cool, like, what do you want? I'd be like, I don't know, can I get, like, an egg-based dough with, like, you know, like a salsa-type tomato sauce with a bunch of cheese, top it with some, like, scrambled eggs? Boom, breakfast pizza.
I think I'm gonna have to keep it in fashion here with my my goated, and I'm gonna have to go with movies, cinema. And I don't just mean watching movies in your home, right? Even if you got a projector screen. I mean, like, actually going to the movies, having that cinematic experience. You know, I am gonna have to be a little bit of a...
I'm calling you out. Is this a sense of longing because you haven't gone to a theater in a while?
Oh, no, that's not true, because I've been to a theater within the year, right? But I do feel like the desire to go to the theater has been less and less because the quality of movie that we're getting, and this is coming from somebody who grew up in the teen sex comedy, like, boom, right?
My introduction to Chris Evans was as that guy and not another teen movie.
But, like, going to the movie theaters, like, movies are an experience. It really is like having a waking dream for, you know, what is, like, fucking 3 hours now, depending on what movie you're watching, or if you're watching a Netflix series, 10 hours. No, dude, I think, you know, it is one of the greatest art forms that we have, you know, as the human race has ever come up with, right? Like, stage plays were it but they just don't hit the same way
Bars?
that a movie does. Listen, I'm
Bars?
You know, I'm
Bars!
I'm on my soapbox right now. I mean, no, you can't tell me there isn't a person on this planet who has access to such that hasn't been touched by a movie. Bars.
Bars!
No, fam, for real. Like, you know, from all the different genres, right? I just like the experience of watching a really good movie can be eye-opening. It can change, you know, viewing perspectives, right? Go see The Apprentice, out now, right?
Starring Sebastian Stan.
They trying so hard to get this movie not to drop. And what's extra funny about this is the same thing that's funny about a lot of the Trump news right now is he stalled so hard on a lot of the cases and things that he's facing for as long as he could, and everything is hitting him right before the fucking election, dog. Like, he just couldn't stall any further than that.
Everybody was wondering what was going on when he was listening to music. He was staring at the light and everything was hitting him all at once.
From what I understand, The Apprentice was filmed a while ago, right? Like, back in, like, 2021 or some shit like that. And they have been trying since then to keep the movie suppressed. The fucking director is getting, like, death threats and
that doesn't surprise me.
That, bro.
He's a Hollywood liberal cuck. What do you expect?
Yo, no. But in all honesty, though, like, I do think that movies are one of the greatest forms of art that we have created, and you know I'm saying that, and music exists, right?
Yeah, I mean, like, I figured when we both were like, let's come up with something that is GOAT. I don't imagine either one of us would come up with a take where it's like, this thing is GOAT, and the other would be like, fuck you, me!
Well, I mean, you did say green was mid, but I'm gonna let
green
that
is
slide.
mid,
no,
but
no, that's trash. Your fashion sense is trash. However, though, as much as we are a jokey joke podcast, I do feel like, you know, I couldn't settle with something cliche or something tongue-in-cheek. I did want to go with something I truly felt was goated.
I also went with something I truly feel is goated.
As far as expressive art forms are considered,
pizza is a canvas.
Movies as well are a canvas.
Sure, Mazin Sen, I get it.
And with that being said,
there is one thing that Doc and I can agree is goated, and that is voting.
Please go fucking vote.
Just go vote, please.
And if you listen to this pod long enough, you know what I mean by please go vote. I don't have to expressively say it. Like, I've said
We're
it.
Chaparral Road right here. Just go vote.
I've said it in this podcast already today, in this podcast that you're listening to. Like, literally, the other dude is just as senile as the other dude, right? And this has to stop. Because none of this is normal.
But what should be normal is buying all of your Yu-Gi-Oh! Pokemon, Magic the Gathering, Flesh and Blood, One Piece, Lorcana, board games, card game supplies at tokenmtg.com and using the promo code Ziggy to get 10% off of your order.
And don't forget to make it normal to like and subscribe to the Flood Pod if you haven't yet. Go ahead and share that with the friends, the fam, everybody in between, and we will be back at y'all next time.
But we still have to give one more shout out to our patrons: Enraged Peacock,
A cat named Cool,
and Thunder Knight. Right out! Deuces!
Look, it's a flood. It's flooding.
Get away!
Quick, we need to get to higher ground.
Open the floodgates.
to talk about
It
black
is
stuff.
time to